It took one loss this season for USC to say, see ya, to head coach Clay Helton. The Trojans lost to Stanford by 14 on Saturday at home, a game they were favored to win by 17 and a half. Helton went 46-24 overall, Tone, but his teams often, his critics say, came up too small against ranked teams. USC said in a statement that it's confident in its ability to attract a world-class coach. Do you see the Trojans landing a world-class coach, Tom?
I think this breaks down a little bit on age, Mike. I think if you are our age and you look at the USC program, you know how great it was for such a long time. I've got it in my top 5 all-time college programs. USC, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Alabama is my top 5. So someone like me, someone like you thinks they could attract it. But if you just started watching after Pete Carroll left and he went to Seattle the last 12 years, you see a toxic mess. You see a totally dysfunctional program with 4 different ADs and now 5 different coaches. They fired Lane Kiffin on the tarmac coming back from a game mid-season. They had Ed Orgeron. They had Ed Orgeron, and they passed on him, and he went and he won a national championship. They hired Steve Sarkisian. They got rid of him for public drunkenness, okay, in the middle of a season. Now they get rid of Helton 2 games into a season. So if you're asking me, I think big-name guys should want it, but maybe they don't. Maybe they're afraid of it. It looks like USC and Florida State are dumpster fires.
Well, see, I'm glad you looked at the issue from that angle. I'm going to look at it a little differently. Tony, all these schools that were great in 1970 think it's their birthright to be great forever. Nebraska fired a guy who essentially went 9-3 every year. How's it gone for Nebraska since then, right? Florida State, you and I the other day, we're like laughing, and it's not we're laughing at Florida State. We're laughing at the topsy-turvy nature of college football and who gets turned on its head now. The Blue Bloods, Tony, Notre Dame had years where they weren't a threat to do anything but look like clowns and be the butt of jokes. That era is over for college football, Tony, and USC seems to be the latest school that doesn't understand that. USC has bigger problems too. USC doesn't understand a whole lot of stuff. They run afoul of a whole lot of things, the whole university, which makes me question the presidents sometimes of USC. But, Tone, all these schools that think they're going to be great because they were great in 1975 running student body right, that stuff's done, man. I don't know the SC is going to bounce back from this automatically or at all.
They had John McKay won national championships, John Robinson, Pete Carroll. They had O.J. Simpson. They had Lynn Swann. They had Charles White. They had Reggie Bush. When the guy gets out there,
Marcus
the Trojan,
Allen.
He's on the white horse and he's dressed up and
it was
he puts
great, wasn't
the
it?
sword in the ground. That, Mike, when I grew up, football west of the Rockies was the University of Southern California. That's
Tony,
it.
You were right about you and I being of a certain age and time where, especially for people back east, where you didn't get to see USC every week. But when they were on and they played Notre Dame or Michigan or UCLA, it was so exciting just the run-up, the people coming into the Coliseum. They play at the Coliseum, for God's sake. You know what? It may be over for them.
You're right. Well, you know what they ought to do? They ought to hire Urban Meyer because he's going to be a disaster where he is and get him back to college.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.